Shalom everyone, hope you're all doing really well. As it is that time of the month where it is Halloween, I thought I would do a somewhat short video on the topic. Now, as we all know or should know, Halloween is a major satanic holiday. It is where evil happens, including human sacrifices. It is a time of great evil and a time of great demonic activity. And it's unfortunate that Christians and some believers themselves allow their children to partake in Halloween, thinking there is absolutely nothing wrong with Halloween. It's just a bit of fun. However, it's not just fun. It goes much, much deeper than that. And I think many parents themselves need to be somewhat educated, research, do some, reading up on Halloween, on its origins, on its history, and just really help their children also understand. Because, as kids themselves are growing up, they're being following friends into going and partaking in Halloween. They themselves think it's just a bit of fun, not really realizing what is going on behind the scenes on that day and that night. Now, we always want Yahweh's best. We're always praying to Him for deliverance, for healing, for blessings, for material things. We ask Yahweh to look after our family, to bless our children, and all the rest. But we also open the door to Satan. How do we do that? Of course, with sinning, with how we choose to live, with, just partaking in certain things, with what we allow our children to partake in, where they go, who they hang out with, what they choose to do, because we as parents can even allow our children to partake in Halloween, as I said. So we really need to be careful, because we do, as parents, as children, as humans, open the door to Satan. And with how we choose to live and what we partake in, that can also cause us to actually give the demons and give the devil actual legal ground to be in our life. And then we sometimes wonder, what's going on with our life? Why are we suffering? Why are we going through illnesses and diseases? Why there is no shalom and peace in our home? Why we're always arguing? Why there's always arguments? Why are there always fights and rebellion in our house? And that is one reason. We chose to open that door to Satan, open that door and give the demons and Satan legal ground to be in our life. There are many things which give the devil and his demons legal ground into our life. Many. I think I'm going to write a list down and maybe do individual related videos on each one in the future. However, speaking about Halloween now, there is one thing, that does give demons and the devil legal ground into our life, and that is participating in occult activity. Anything occult related. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be an actual witch or an actual psychic in order for, the demons to have legal ground into your life, but it just takes mere dabbling into it. Some people would say even just reading up on astrology books, for instance, or witchcraft books, can give legal ground to demons to attach themselves to you. And so it is very, very important that we get this right. And so, as I said, one thing that does give the demons and the devil legal ground into your life is occult activity. Some things include, of course, astrology, reading horoscopes, going in to see psychics, or even being a psychic yourself, clairvoyance, divination of any kind, watching horror movies. That's a big thing that people don't see any problem with, because it's like it's just a movie, it has no effect. However, it really much so does have an effect and does have consequences. So any horror related movies, whether it's about witches, psychics, werewolves, vampires, ghosts, demons, anything and everything horror does give the demons and Satan legal ground into your life. Another thing, of course, is necromancy. So I'm just looking at the list. And of course, magic and witchcraft of all kinds. And I do want to mention these two, which they are done every day by some people, but mostly also on Halloween, whether it's by kids, whether it's by adults, and that is playing around with Ouija boards and doing seances. Now, some people, as I said, might not see any problem with it. However, when you are playing around with Ouija boards, you are opening the door to the devil. You're opening the door for demons to come through. And unfortunately, many people don't know this, but if you are playing around with Ouija boards and you don't, how do I say this? If you don't finish off playing Ouija board the right way and you don't send the demons back, they will attach themselves to you. So that is something that is actually quite important to know. And of course, doing seances. You're pretty much, whether you're playing around with Ouija boards or, playing around with seances, it's to do with demons and pretty much opening the door for them to come into your life. So I think that's just some things related to occult activity that can open the door for demons to attach themselves to you and for them to be in your life. And if worse gets to worst, cause more and more havoc in your life, in your family's life. Now, Anton Lavey, who was once upon a time a Satanist, a devil worshipper, said this about Christians, and I'll read the quote. He said, "I'm glad Christians let their kids worship the devil at least one night out of the year." I think that's all that needs to be said by a former Satanist, former devil worshipper. He's now passed away, but he did speak some truth. He also went on to say that by dressing up for Halloween and adapting the pagan practices, you subconsciously dedicate yourself to the devil, which I think has some truth in it, because you're kind of choosing the devil over Yahweh. You're choosing to partake in darkness instead of light. We are told to stay away from all forms of wickedness and darkness and, not to sin. And yet we're choosing to side with the devil when we choose to partake in Halloween, when we're choosing to allow our children to partake in Halloween and not see the consequences of the actions of Halloween and actually getting dressed, partaking in trick-or-treat and all the rest that people do that night. We are to walk as Yeshua walked and do what he did, and not, as I said, partake in works of the devil. We are to reprove and expose darkness, and yet we are choosing to align ourselves with the devil. And so I think what Anton said was pretty spot on, and so I think we really do need to take Yahweh more seriously. We do need to pick a side once and for all, because Yahweh is not to be mocked. We are to be holy as he's holy, as he's told us to be, many times, and as I've said many times. And, I think we need to stop as believers, as Christians, making up excuses, looking for loopholes as to why certain evils are okay to do or partake in, or any of that such rubbish. I think instead of getting offended and insulted as to, oh, well, you can't tell me that I can't, partake in Halloween, or my children can't do Halloween. You need to know your Bible. You need to know the word of Yahweh. You need to know his ways and keep and obey his commandments instead of choosing darkness, choosing to side with the devil. And so I think this time of Halloween is a time to really get right with Yahweh, to really teach our children and to let them understand the severe consequences of partaking in such an evil, major satanic holiday, which has absolutely nothing to do with Yahweh and the light. It is all darkness, and it's something that we really all need to take extremely seriously. So I think I'm going to end the video at this and hope that it's somewhat helped someone. But I will actually do more spiritual content. I wanted to do it plenty of times before and years prior, but I thought if I did some videos on spiritual stuff, the occult, demons and all the rest, that it would somewhat be a bit shocking to some people. It might be a bit too deep or scary or frightening, but it is something that we all need to take seriously, because it is spiritual warfare. The spiritual world is more real than this world. And so it actually does need speaking about, and I think I'm going to do a bit more topics on that also. And of course, as I said before, I do want to do more videos on what gives the devil and the demons more legal ground to be in your life. And that's just not the occult activity, which I mentioned, but there are plenty of other things. So I do want to do individual videos talking about, each one. So yeah, thank you for watching this, and I'll see you guys next time. Shalom.